Welcome back to a brand new episode of Buzz Behind Sports. Today we have with us a true veteran in the field of sports coaching, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni, who's also a founder of AIM Sports Foundation. He has trained many athletes and has mastered the science of sports coaching.
Let us dive
Straight into the
straight into the
episodes, which
episode,
is
which is
filled with
filled with
insights and
insights,
advice
advice,
in the
and a
field of
little bit of
sports coaching.
controversial opinions as well in the field of sports coaching.
Hi, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni. Welcome to an episode of Buzz Behind Sports. I'm very, very, very honored to be the host for this podcast, and to have you on the show is a delight. Uh, I'm just shooting right away a question to you. Dr. Kulkarni, with your extensive experience, what has sparked that, what was that turning point where you had this passion for coaching, is what I want to know.
So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. Uh, Passion for sports, like since childhood, I was an athlete. Since school days, I used to always win, and it's in our genes basically. My grandfather was a big name in sports industry. He was a principal of TIP Institute, Training Institute of Physical Education. My father was an athlete. My mother was an athlete, and that is the whole idea that I started sports and into this field for almost now 17 years as an athlete and 25 years as a coach.
Right. So, was there a defining moment? Yeah, you said that your family was in sports, and that was your inclination towards coming into this field. Was there a defining moment? Is like, yes, I want to turn from an athlete to a coach. Like,
So till 1994, I used to do athletics, track and field events. I was the first batch athlete from SAI Sports Authority of India. Um, then I had given up sports. I was into business. I was into printing business. 1996, my father said, your grandfather had dream of producing international athletes, and it couldn't happen. So that thing started in my mind, and I started applying in my own school in Saraswati Pachpakadi that I want to set a sports academy. And after 4 years, for September 2000, I got the permission and I started my academy. And then all the journey started.
okay, wonderful. Um, since you turned into a coach, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in the beginning to become a coach? What are the hurdles that you could see in front of yourself?
So, very honest, when I started coaching, I realized this in 2005 when I did my uh, certification from NIS, from the National Institute of Sports. Till 2005, I was not a coach. I was just an athlete or a mentor guiding these athletes.
Right.
So I was just a guide. Um, when I started coaching, the challenges were first of all getting the permission to start the academy. As I told you, 4 years it took me to start an academy. I had almost 150 students training with me. We had a very small ground, school ground, but to start with grassroots program, grassroots coaching, it was enough. And the facilities definitely, the school gave the ground, and then other things we did it on our own. And as I had my business going on, so I could manage funds from my business to put in the for equipments and other things. Challenges basically till 2004, 2005, I used to always give a call to my coach, who then had produced an Olympian. My athletes have started doing well at the district level and the state level. Now my athletes got selected for national level. So what type of training programs should I take? Should I implement for my athletes? Then he said that Najit, you're doing an extremely good job, so you should get certified. So you will know the methodologies, the training methods, how to train at what season, periodization, everything. And then when I completed, then it was yes. Now I'm a coach. So 2005, I started a proper coaching.
Right. So you're saying about getting a formal degree in coaching.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us what formal degree have you acquired, as well as what other aspiring coaches who are right now in the industry would should have as a formal degree to become a sports coach in India?
Yeah. So there are many coaches, those who were ex-athletes. So like how I started, I was an ex-national medalist who started coaching. But at the same time, it is very, very essential to do certifications, to do diploma or to do degree courses. In India, basically in track and field, you have a certification or diploma from National Institute of Sports. There are different centers. In track and field now, they have started since 2012. They have started with IIF courses, International Association of Athletic Federation.
Right.
There are level 1, level 2, level 3 courses. So in 2012, it happened at American School, and Elio Locatelli, the level 5 coach, had come to train us, and 24 coaches were being selected. I was amongst them. So I get to know the different methods what the international coaches are applying, and there the scenario changed, the mindset changed. What type of training programs is to be incurred during to the athletes at different age groups. So it is very important. Yes, now strength and conditioning courses have come in. Like our IISM is into what you say,
Sports science.
sports science. Students are coming up with great marks also, as well as great knowledge. So this is very, very important that you need to have a certified courses to do coaching.
So having a formal certification, SNC coaching is one that you would want to tell us. And the second thing is getting a master's or a bachelor's degree in sports science courses.
True.
So the students are, or the aspiring coaches are up to the mark as per the industry. Sir, you have had the opportunity to do your education a little bit in the UK. So what kind of gap did you notice in the coaching that is done here versus coaching that is done there?
Yeah, so
We would like to-
as I had an academy in UK, I'm training some marathoners over there, and some fitness programs. When I was just going through, I come to across this course of strength and conditioning and advanced plyometrics. So I just inquired and found out that this is something different, and let's try to do it. But then again, I was from commerce background. When I started doing this course, I found it very difficult because it's completely science based
Correct.
and it's complete scientific training. But through one of my ex-athlete who is a physiotherapist, she guided me in this course, and 65% was passing, and I scored 67. But I found out it is very, very important to be having the sports science knowledge. That is very, very important, and I'm very happy that these courses have come in India also. Like our college, IISM is already offering this course, SNC. So when I was talking to Mr. Adil Sumariwala, who is the AFI president, ex-president now, and World Athletics vice president. So I asked him, why you people are appointing foreign coaches for our athletes? Our Indian coaches are equally certified, qualified. Then he said, Ajit, all the coaches over there are scientists. They do a lot of research. And that is why we appoint these coaches. And then I realized what he was saying was absolutely right. When I was doing this course, I found it is difficult. Coaching is difficult. Coaching at grassroots level is okay. You do courses here, that is fine. But if you want to coach elite athletes, you need to be a scientist for that. And if you can do that, 100% we can produce in national.
So what you're trying to say is we need to push a little bit more of a science-backed, research-based approach to train athletes, and probably we'll be able to have better athletes and
Absolutely.
and we'll be up for the Olympics in the upcoming.
100%. We can produce more Neeraj Chopras.
True. So other than having these formal degrees, is there any essential additional skill set that a coach should have that you think is important that a coach should have?
So basically, all the basic knowledge is very, very important in regards to nutrition, psychology, because you should know the mindset of the athlete. Like my coaching style is little different from other coaches. When the athlete enters the ground, I always will see the athlete's footsteps. I will always see the way he or she wishes the coach. If that sound says "Good morning, coach," I says that the recovery is not good. So maybe if the repetitions like I've designed for them that day, I might reduce that repetition to avoid injuries. If that sound is like "Good morning, coach," oh, he or she is fresh enough. So accordingly, the training programs will be incurred that time.
Right.
So this is very, very important from the coach's point of view. What type of training programs has to be? You cannot like you do microcycles, you do mesocycles. It's not going to happen if that athlete is not up to the mark.
Correct.
If she is not fresh, you have to do the changes. So that is the skill of that coach.
To assess what the athlete is feeling.
That's right.
So you mentioned 2 points. One is nutrition and one is psychology. Do you have any real life examples where nutrition has played a significant role or psychology has played a significant role in changing the game of a player?
So before like few years back, I always used to feel training or coaching is like 50 to 60%, and other aspects like nutrition, psychology, recovery is like 20-30%. But after doing these courses, I because nutrition was the part of our course, I realized nutrition is 50% and all other aspects are like comes like training is 30%, recovery, hydration is like 10 to 20%, which completes your 100%. All coaches are now updated. They have done their upgradations. The coaching system is happening very well. But at the same time, if your nutrition is not taken care, if your recovery is not taken care, if that athlete is sleeping only for 5 to 6 hours, and if the athlete is not recovered, he or she will land in injuries.
Correct.
Okay, there are a lot of distraction nowadays happening because of the social media,
Phone
usages. And that is the reason there is a lot of brain fogging happening. So whenever a coach is trying to tell some athletes about the technique and all, they are not able to grasp well. So then that psychology also plays that important role. So these are very, very important topics. It's a big syllabus, I
Right.
would say.
Since you mentioned technology being a possible negative aspect for an athlete because maybe he's using too much phone, too much influence from the social media. But on the counterpart, we also have technologies helping the athletes. So how would you want to balance it out? Because most of the technologies now are on the phone or on the smartwatches.
Right.
So how would you tell your athlete that technology important hai, but this is what you need to do?
Technology 100% is important. What I usually think is the technology what is being used in terms of machineries. Okay, now for example, resistance training. Okay, we use some belts and all, but there are advanced training equipment which has come up like the cable pools and all, which are very expensive here because I was just thought I would like to purchase one, but the cost was like 10 lakhs and 15 lakh rupees start base cost, and then you need to have that much facilities also. We don't have here tracks or anything. Now technology is like we have these beeps where when you the timers, like if you try to go and purchase that, but we don't have that much ground also to put that equipment.
Got
Okay, technology wise, we use some platforms because there are few athletes those who talk on like they motivate the athletes like Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt. There are some like you can say about recently I was seeing Sunil Chetri's some videos, a lot of motivational things. He tells you have to sleep on time, at least you should have 8 to 9 hours sleep, or you might say like the nutrition part, the hydration part. So that is how the technology can be used. But if you keep seeing some reels, because I have seen some reels where they are showing some wrong techniques, and
Correct.
then that adaptation, ki, sir, he or she, we saw this reel, and then we have to
Do it like
we have to do the drills this way. But that is not the right way to do it. So there was one person who was showing some start drills where he was doing a lot of bounding. Then that vertical velocity, the horizontal velocity, the athlete is not going to know about it. He was using more of the vertical velocity and trying to do this bounding, which is not at all advisable for the sprinters.
Correct.
So sometimes it is bad, sometimes it is good.
So the idea is that the athlete should be able to balance the good and the bad in the technology,
Yes.
and probably not just see reels that are unimportant and coming from sources that are not reliable.
Right.
Right. So, what do you think about the concept of doping in sports? Since you coach a lot of athletes, doping testing is very vibrantly done for athletes as they play for national, international levels. So, what is your take on it as a coach?
So since starting going to the national championships as a coach, one of the university mates, we ourselves had got a lot of syringes in the washrooms, in the male washrooms, and we in fact told the press people also to cover up this story. The students are not educated, the athletes are not educated. So right now I'm talking only about from the athletes' point of view, like the track and field. There is a lot of doping happening, but at the same time, the NADA people are very strict about it. Recently at Odisha, one of my athletes, she did a national record. Immediately we were being called for dope. We cooperated and we did everything. And immediately the name was being displayed as the national record. Similar, there was one athlete who did a national record in the boys 16 group, but his name was not there in the list because maybe probably he might have been caught in dope. What I feel is there are senior athletes, those who are misguiding the junior athletes. There are many times the coaches usually will not give their athletes steroids or all because they know if they get caught in dope,
Even the
only
coaches,
only the athlete doesn't get debarred, the coach also gets debarred.
correct.
So at the same time, the athletes, they need to be educated. NADA is doing an excellent job. They have started with a lot of courses, online courses also. Maybe the district secretaries and all should take this seriously, and they should come up with such type of refreshing courses for the athletes to guide them. Ki always read the prescriptions or the contents in the
Nutrition
medicines what
fact
they're taking,
labels, yes.
because it is happening. The normal cough syrups are also not allowed; they are also banned. So NADA is already published a book on what are banned substances which are not allowed. So if everyone follows that, definitely. And nowadays everyone wants fast result. No one wants to work hard.
Correct.
So if dope, you can do it in your head itself.
It's a psychological
thing. It's only a psychological thing. Within half an hour before if you take something and you think that you're going to perform, it's not going to happen.
Correct. So the idea is there enough doping education given to sports coaches in India? Though as a coach, nobody would want to, use doping as a way of increasing or improving performance.
Yeah.
Is there enough coaching or training being done for, doping, and what are the ethical grounds that one needs to stand?
So yeah, a few years back it was not, but recently the Athletic Federation of India, they have started with these courses. They started educating the coaches. They have started educating the trainers. They have started educating the athletes how to stay away from doping. Definitely, it is taken up very seriously and it's happening.
So a lot of times we hear about athletes having injuries due to overtraining or having burnouts. How does a coach keep a balance between this burnouts and having proper performance in their training?
So usually what happens now, the training programs are being designed. Like how I do is I have a proper periodization which we follow for the athletes. Preparation 1, phase 2, 3, pre-competition phase, competition phase. Burnouts, it's because in the junior age group, what I've seen, we have a different system than the system what is happening in the foreign countries. They have a system where they play overall all games. It's not a specific sport.
Right.
Okay, so there are development programs. Okay, early competition exposure is definitely not advisable. I don't give early exposure to the competitions. Recently, my athlete who did national record, who won gold medal, she said she did 13 records. I never gave her exposure to any of the competitions till the age group of 14. So she only started competing in age group under 14 when she was in second year. And now she started performing. So till 14, 15, she didn't win any medals.
Okay.
But we had a system, local competitions, fun competitions, play for your school, some game, Coco game and all. So overall development was been done at the grassroots level.
Right.
Now she is able to take up with the load, whatever the training programs are incurred for her. Similarly, overtraining or burnout, you can say, it is happening because the athletes are being overtrained, okay, and unnecessary. The age group what they are into, the training program has to be given according to that age group, and not like if the athlete is under 16 and if you are trying to give the training programs of under 20, definitely there is going to be burnout.
Correct.
Okay, then that is the reason our athletes are not to be seen in the higher age groups. No, none of the athletes from the local academies are been seen in women's and men's age group. So that is the real age group where you can start representing your country for Olympics or World Championships
Perfect.
for this competition. So the coaches, that is why it is very important to do certifications, to take proper education. In fact, I will like to suggest if we can start some online courses for the coaches, those who cannot take admissions in colleges,
full-time.
in full-time colleges,
Yes.
so that at least basic knowledge has been incurred, and maybe they can implement at the time of their training programs to the athletes.
That would be wonderful, sir, because like you said, it's all about how the trainer, not the trainer, sorry, the sports coach is,
Yeah.
designing a training program for an athlete and how he's able to create a balance between the actual ongoing training sessions as well as if the athlete is, say, young. So he probably has some load from school, from
Absolutely.
academics,
Yes.
etc. So do you find that you have to create a balance that, academically also he's performing and as well as on the field?
Absolutely. Usually, what happens, I always give first preference to academics because sports is like a gamble. आज आज खेल रहे हैं, कल को अगर परफॉर्म नहीं करेंगे तो you are not performing in academics also and not in sports also. Unless and until you are Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, like even though if you don't continue with your academics, you are at that level. But every time it cannot happen. In all cases, it is not possible. So equally, academics is important. So all the athletes, they are very good in academics. They score good marks, and schools should take some initiative. If that athlete, he or she is good in sports, slightly some relaxation should be given in academics, or some special tutors should be appointed for this
Group of
for these athletes, so that like my dad used to do. My father was a teacher, so my athletes, he used to take care of their education. Like if they're going for some competitions, then during that competitions they used to miss their tuition classes. So he used to tell, okay, you come separate, you come for extra classes, and then he used to cover up afterwards.
Correct.
So if these things can be done in the schools also, to give some, a lot of schools are doing it. I'm not saying they are not doing it. During our time, it was not there. But nowadays, what my athletes are getting they're getting benefit from the school also. When my athlete did the record, when she came to school, the entire school felicitated her. So which was a proud moment for not only the athlete or the parents, for a coach also. Seeing the athlete is getting felicitated by each and every student, each and every staff member, the principal, the trustees. So this should happen in all the schools.
एक मिनट IISM बद्दल mention करू शकते? Like students, lot of students are your athletes and we do support. हो चालेल ना? like you just mentioned, ISM also has this thing where we 80% of our students are athletes, and we proactively look at them representing ISM as well as themselves at different levels and different sports. And indeed, our founder director always, when they come back with medals, he's always there to felicitate them, and also we take care of their education part where they have missed out on classes. If there's need of any extra classes to be given, or just to brush up, so we have always been proactively pushing
Yes.
students to take up sports. Since you mentioned you have coached a lot of athletes, what is that essential relation that a coach and an athlete should have to build trust, that yes, Dr. Ajit, who's my coach, is that relationship should be there with him?
Firstly, an athlete and a coach relation is like, for example, he is a father, he is a friend, he's a brother, uh, he's everything basically. Or in India, basically, you can say he has to be a psychologist, he's a nutritionist, he's a masseur, and then he's a coach. He's a driver, he's a cleaner. So communication with the athlete, with basically coach always keeps communicating, but at the same time, the athlete also has to communicate with the coach, because what I feel is at the end, we all are working for the success. We all are working for that performance, and if that coach and athlete's relation is not healthy, the athlete will perform to a certain level. He or she will not be able to perform um, at the higher level. So I feel ki the athlete and coach relation has to be very, very strong, because nowadays I am seeing a lot of athletes jump from one stone to another, or from one academy to another academy. अ, ये कोच के पास अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस आ रहा है, तो अभी हम ये कोच के पास जाएं. So I do a lot of brainwash to the athletes, those who come to me from different academies. If you are performing at that with that coach to the national level or national medal, why you have to change?
Correct.
Have patience. Nowadays, the athletes, the parents don't have patience. They don't have the trust factor is very important.
Correct.
And I believe in developing athletes from the grassroots level, because they know my system. कि coach को क्या चाहिए, and a coach will know what that athlete wants, because I will come to know if my athlete is feeling thirsty. I will tell pani pile. Now you are hungry. So that is what a coach will know about athlete, and the athlete also knows. Only with my eye expressions, the athlete will know कि coach अभी भड़का है, coach didn't like these things. So this is what is important.
So you just mentioned that a lot of parents are also coming with their own expectations set on the athletes, that ये करना है, इतने देर में करना है, ये medal लाना है. What kind of a pressure and does it put on the athlete and on the coach as well? Because they must be coming to you as well कि coach ये नहीं हो रहा, coach वो नहीं हो रहा, we would like to change. Just extending the question.
I'll elaborate this, because the competition is not between the athletes nowadays. The competition is between parents. There is a lot of comparison happening, and that is the reason the athlete is suffering. पेरेंट्स में कंपटीशन ऐसा हो गया, अरे देखा क्या वो तेरे से फास्ट भाग रही है, उसका टाइमिंग देख, उसका जंप देख, तू अभी कर, उसको उसको तेरे को हराना है, ये करना है. दिस इज द प्रेशर व्हाट द एथलीट्स आर फेसिंग फ्रॉम द पेरेंट्स. मेरे पास ये नहीं होता है, बिकॉज इधर एक ही शैतान है और मैं. सो मेरे पास, इफ यू आर सेंडिंग योर एथलीट, सेंड विथ फुल ट्रस्ट. मेरे पास एनओसी रेडी रहता है. If you want to change any, you change my academy, my NOC is ready. This is NOC, you can join any other club. जो अभी तक 25 years में हुआ नहीं है. But the parents are not allowed to come on the ground and see what type of training programs I'm taking. You are not allowed to come in my system. So I want to give a message to the parents. Have patience, have trust in the coach where you are sending. Overnight performance नहीं आएगा. It takes to understand one athlete minimum of 3 to 4 years. What type of, see, there are very few events. Like if I talk from track and field point of view, there are very few events at the in the lower age groups, like under 8, 10, 12. There are only 50 meters standing broad jump or 100 meters race. There are no fun games at that age. So events like when you grow up under 18, 20, then you have almost 20, 22 events where you can compete in. Then we can change the events. But at the lower age group, we cannot do anything. Okay, and then what happens? Only 3 medals you're going to get. उसमें से अगर आपका एथलीट फोर्थ फिफ्थ आ रहा है, you should be happy. In rural schools, when we do these competitions, we give prizes till 5 placings, medals for 3, and then we give some incentives or something of that sort to the fourth and the fifth place also. Why? To get motivated. क्या रे मुझे prize मिला, तो I will try to come in the best 3.
First 3.
So this has to happen at the grassroots level. When you are giving prizes, give to five athletes.
Correct.
Then the parents will be also happy. क्या रे मेरा बच्चा तो अभी जीतने वाला ही नहीं, तो मैं क्या को उसको प्रैक्टिस को भेजी. चलो अभी athletics, now you join football, then you join this, and multiple sport. The parents will put their athlete in lawn tennis, put him in athletics, and he or she will go for swimming. So and then football, cricket, so many sport. If you just try to put him in all, he's going to get burnout.
Correct. So, do you recommend that an athlete should specifically train for one sport from the very early ages so that he excels in that sport, or it should be like there's one dominant sport, say for example track and field, supplemented with maybe one more sport to just enhance the skills?
So basically, athletics is mother of all sports. Now, if you take up any different sport, you need to have these motor qualities. You need to develop it at the grassroots level, like speed, agility, quickness, coordination, rhythm, balance, flexibility, reflexes. Core stability, strength, power, it will come later. But this 5-6 components you will need to develop at the grassroots level. Then you take up any sport. You take up badminton, you take up table tennis, you take up lawn tennis, racket sports like, or you can take up football. But this components, once it has been developed, then you can take up any other sport. Specific sport, specific training, I think so till 14, no one should start doing any specific training. Overall development is important. If you're doing football, just make them do a lot of drills. Okay? Not necessary just making them play football game. Again, will make them land in injuries. So specific training programs, not at the lower age groups.
So when an athlete wins, coach has a lot of fame, along with it. But has there been any case where you have been blamed for the wrong kind of coaching or the athlete not winning or etc.? Has there been a negative counterpart?
As I told you, as I'm a coach where I train from the grassroots. So those athletes whom I have trained from grassroots, there is no blame as such. There might be talk going on in parents, अपने आप में बात करते रहेंगे, which is not yet come on my ears. But yeah, few times it happens कि getting some, as I told कि दूसरे का athlete मेरे पास training को आ रहा है, दूसरे coach का. That athlete doesn't know my system, okay, and because of this coach ये athlete का performance आया तो मेरे बेटे और बेटी का भी performance आएगा, इसके लिए coach के पास भेजो. But what happens is that athlete, the coach needs to understand that athlete for at least 2 to 3 years. कि बाबा इसका ट्रेनिंग टेक्निक में पहले कोच ने क्या गलती किया है, what I have to improve in his or her training techniques. So that takes little time. And then small things, the new parents, the new athletes, they don't know. अरे फेलिसिटेशन नहीं किया कोच ने, अरे कोच ने मेरे बेटी के पास या बेटे के पास ध्यान ही नहीं दिया. Coach has an eagle's eye. He or she will not escape from the coach's eye. Definitely. See, maximum medals when an athlete wins, the coach is going to get fame.
Correct.
Right? So definitely he or she will try to push the athletes more and more. So the parents should have little patience.
Since India has a lot of Khelo India centers set up, they're trying to push grassroots sports and development, and also include more and more new sports, just like Kho. We have started with the
Yeah.
Kho World Championship. We have Pro Kabaddi. We have pickleball that is coming in. So, what kind of advice would you want to give this to these new aspiring coaches in different field of sports?
All coaches are I'm still learning, so I am no one to guide them or give them any advice because of diggaj hai, all legends hai. But still, when any new sport coming in like pickleball and all, it's an hype. A lot of countries have started playing, and then top-notch celebrities are playing this sport. Definitely, the sport is very good. I myself like to play pickleball. But the coaches need to upgrade when you want if any new sport coming in, the coaches should know about that game.
Correct.
That is very very important. Now, if you say cricket, there are so many courses come in, and a lot of people are doing the coaches are doing these courses, which is very good. So upgradation is very very important, and any coach should keep upgrading himself, because I keep doing courses every year, like 2 years I'll do some upgradation. Recently I did a course on the breathing techniques from ACE, American Council on Exercise, which helped my athletes during the events. After doing my strength and conditioning course, I did my advanced acupressure course. So basically, for injury prevention,
Correct.
I don't want to practice medically or doing some business out of it. But whenever I am going with my athletes for some competitions, I see to it that my athletes' recovery is done properly, or he or she is getting there are no pains, aches, or soreness, stiffness. So I use these techniques during the time of competitions as well. So upgradation is very very important.
Since you have 20 years of and more of experience in coaching, what kind of a difference have you seen in your initial years of coaching versus now that is happening in India?
So, as per me, when I started coaching, I was a very aggressive coach. And I want my athletes to win all the time, do national records, get international selections, international medals. And yes, my athletes did that. But after few years of coaching, I found that the athletes what I had in my first batch, I couldn't find that zeal, or you can say वो दिख नहीं रहा था कि ये मेरे को एथलीट एथलीट बनना है. And as I told you, after doing my strength and conditioning and advanced plyometric course from UK, I was like little bit dejected, and I had stopped coaching. I was just into my fitness industry, training the marathoners and earning little money. So after 2016, 2017, after finishing this course, no infrastructure, no facilities, traveling all the way to different venues for training programs. I said that, bus, what we are not getting, what the athletes in abroad countries are getting. So I stopped coaching. But all of a sudden, I found 3, 4 athletes doing well. Shaurya, who recently, as I keep mentioning about her records, very disciplined athlete, and whatever I tell her, she follows that things. And I said, "Chalo, I will start again training this athlete, coaching." And after 9 years, I went to Odisha for the junior national championships, and what amazing change I found. The competition, the championships was held at par with international standards. All events were taught on time, not a second before or post. Everything was organized very well. Everything. Definitely, Odisha Kalinga Stadium is got one of the best facility. And in fact, my athlete was very happy to compete there. He's seen the level of competition, the organizing. So this is what a change what I'm seeing. Yes, now I'm feeling I should keep coaching. So if we are going to get such type of good organizing thing, thanks to all Dr. Adil Sumariwala.
Okay. So you're saying that yes, India is evolving in terms of having better sports infrastructure and better development. But do you see any loopholes in this infrastructure and development when we want to train athletes in India?
Yeah, basically infrastructure, we are very slow. Now you see in Thane, I'm coaching in Thane for the past 25 years, and we don't have a synthetic track. We kept requesting the Thana District Athletic Association's secretary, president. President is our ex-CM, Mr. Eknath Shindeji. Please give us a synthetic track. In fact, we had a Dadoji Konda Stadium which was closed for athletes, and it's only for cricket now. They have laid up two tracks on the steps, which is not a training track. You can just walk on it, but you cannot train on this track. You need a good synthetic track, wherein a proper synthetic track. It should not be like 1 mm track is being laid and then the athletes are landing in injuries.
Correct.
Okay, so we have to travel all the way to Bandra. We have to travel all the way to University Ground or sometimes to Balewadi. I used to take my athletes to Balewadi for training programs. And Pune, they have almost 5 to 6 synthetic tracks. And Thana is one of the biggest districts, and we don't have a single synthetic track. A proper, I'm saying.
A proper.
So infrastructure is very, very important. That is. the
So do
key.
you, like you just mentioned two contrasts to me. One is Mumbai, where we lack space. That is a very obvious thing in Mumbai, that there's no space for developing such tracks, versus a place where Orissa, just you mentioned, Kalinga Stadium, they've done a beautiful job. Do you see any hotspots in Maharashtra where one could possibly build better facilities and make use of it?
So Maharashtra, like Nagpur has come up with 2 synthetic tracks. Pune we already have. Kolhapur we have a track. So Maharashtra, different places we have. We have a track in Mumra, but that's not a training track again. But like Kalinga, about what we were mentioning, they have an indoor stadium, they have a warm-up track, and they have a main stadium synthetic track, and a huge complex, like how Balewadi has. Now Balewadi, they have a very huge complex, but the synthetic track is already worn off. It should have got changed 5 6 years back,
Correct.
but still it's not. They have not changed the track. Ulve, Reliance Foundation is built up a track, but only their athletes are allowed to train there. They are allowing the outside athletes, but there are some time restrictions for them. Like if I want to go and train at Ulve, they probably might give us a slot after 7 o'clock in the evening,
Or a
which we
training
cannot able to go there, because again the travel time is almost 45 minutes to 1 hour from our place, from Thane. So the challenges are here. Like now, indoor stadium. We have very few indoor stadiums. There's the first indoor stadium which came up in Odisha. There is indoor track and field competitions going to the World Championships are going to happen coming up in April or May.
Me.
But we don't have any indoor competitions coming up. There is no indoor championships in our calendar. So this should happen.
So do you think that this is why where our athletes could have trained better on track and field are not doing well on the international level, because they don't have a similar or same kind of infrastructure to help them?
Absolutely. There are very few elite athletes from India. Those are doing extremely well because the corporates like Reliance Foundation or JSW, they have started with their own centers, and they are taking these elite athletes. Foreign coaches are being appointed there. They have been getting exposure training abroad, like few athletes from Reliance Foundation training in South Africa. So this is what is needed. But there are coaches like me, those who are very keen on training the athletes. We are funding our own selves. Like the parents are doing it, or I am doing on my, like taking them to the different venues for the training programs. The same time, if the corporates start some youth programs, and coaches like us are getting involved with this, the athletes those who are training with us, they are comfortable with their personal coaches.
Yes.
So we are not saying ki you go fund our academies. You can start your own academies, take us on the board, and we and your one of the foreign coach, we can work together. So it is a complete team building event. So if that team building is happening, then the athlete can rise up. Otherwise, the athlete also will remain to a certain level.
Correct. Shifting to the topic to an entirely different thing, controversies and coaching. There has been a recent controversy where Rohit Sharma was asked to sit out of the playing 11 by his coach. What are your thoughts on such controversies as a point of view of a coach taking such decisions?
So, like how cricket, there are 11 players, few extras. Like in our relay team also. All of a sudden, if my relay team is set, my 4 athletes relay baton exchanging is done. Even though a athlete who is better than the other 4 athletes, I might not take that athlete because already my system is done. Already my baton exchange is done between these 4 athletes. So why will I take an athlete who is just want to come and I am the top athlete and you have to take me? So the coaches have their own system. Already that 11 players in team, their strategies are made. How can they make a player sit and then take a elite player? It's not possible. The coaches have their system. Then let it be anyone.
Along with being a sports coach, you are a parent too. Your son has completed his degree in sports management. How do you think it has helped him, in his career ahead?
So my son, he used to play cricket, and then he said, "I want to do something in sports. I want to do some career in sports." Then I said that you need to take education properly because during our time it was not there. So if you have this facility, definitely, and then definitely IISM was there. Rasika, very good friend. Nilesh, extremely well. Like we used to know him like international cricketer. So I said, you take an admission in IISM, complete your education, and then we will think. And he said, yes, I want to take the legacy forward. Whatever you have done till now, I would definitely like to put some inputs in that. So when he completed, uh, he's taken our academy to the next level now. So now he is himself, he started 6 centers and he's managing these centers very well. And I'm very happy with that.
Since you started your coaching career long back in 2004 or 2005,
2000.
2000s, what kind of a hierarchy a sports coach now needs to follow to go from grassroots to, say, coaching an international level athlete or a national level playing team?
Basically, when I started coaching, um, there was no that much that we don't have that much infrastructure, no facilities, and right from cleaning the ground, watering the ground, because my fee structure was very very low. Like if I tell you, everyone will start laughing. I used to charge only 75 rupees from every child, and out of that 25% I used to give to the school as rent per student, and in that I had to manage all these things. So a upcoming coach, I would like to give him a suggestion or advice. If you are training any of the athletes, first of all you have to prove yourself. Unless until you don't prove yourself, you will not be able to excel. Because what happens is, अरे वो कोच कितना फी ले रहा है, 3000 रुपीज, मैं भी उतना ही फी लूंगा, नहीं होगा. So you will have to first see to it that, or you, first of all you have to go and work under some professional coach as an assistant coach. The way of working, the coaching style, the attitude. Okay, every coach has got an attitude, definitely, but that attitude is not from the point of view कि मैं इसको ऐसा सिखाऊंगा, मैं उसको ये करूंगा. No, that is not an attitude. Coaching attitude is totally different. This has to be done this way. So the technique, to improve the technique or to improve that athlete's speed or agility, quickness. So that is very important. How it has to be done. it is like the kite. Every time you cannot just keep pulling it, थोड़ा सा ढील देना पड़ता है. तो वैसे कोचिंग में भी है. You cannot always be ऐसा होना चाहिए. No, sometimes it has to be like fun way, strict, emotional, all these things. A coach is not a coach, he is an actor basically. So it is very important for the upcoming coaches. If you want to take up coaching seriously, you have to, you don't have to think about कि मैं इतना पैसा कमाना चाहता हूँ और इतना करना चाहता हूँ. Don't get, yeah, definitely पैसा कमाना है, but at the same time first prove yourself in performance wise.
Correct. So priority is making the athlete better, and
Yes.
then having a balance of all the mixed emotions,
Yes,
because you can't just keep on, चिल्ला नहीं सकते
Yes,
बच्चों
yes.
पे, because they'll have a different kind of negative
Negative.
impact about the
Yes.
coach as well. Right. What role will a sports coach play right now in 2025, since India has bid for Olympics 2036? What kind of
Yes.
role would a sports coach play?
So again, I will tell you now in from the track and field point of view, they have started IIF courses in India. Okay, say 12 days courses, level 1, level 2, and they're trying to build up more coaches. Okay, so that they can train the athletes at the grassroots level. So system is definitely coming in. 2036, we are going to bid. Recently, when I went for this Nirjam competition at Ahmedabad, excellent facilities they're building up, good infrastructure, and definitely we can, if we get Olympics, we can definitely do the justice. But at the same time, the coaches will need to have that fast track thing. No, you have to get educated. You have to keep up with the mission, and then if it is done, definitely we can get medals at the Olympics.
So now the fitness industry has grown. Since you had a brief period when you got into the fitness industry, and now you're trying to come back again to coaching. What is the difference between a trainer and a sports coach?
See, as I told you, coaches, when they do different courses or they get certified and qualified, there are a lot of trainers who are not able to do, or maybe a sportsman who wants to come into coaching, but he's not able to do these courses. Then what they do is they start working as assistant coaches. So the coaches, they follow a periodization, they design a training program. Okay, and then the trainers implement it. Like a lot of people ask me, what is the difference between a trainer and a coach? So I tell them the difference between like a driver and a pilot. Driver also, he drives a car, and pilot also, but there is a difference. A tailor and a master. Master will cut and then tailor will stitch. If the tailor will cut and if you only stitch, definitely it's going to, for example, a kurta, it is not going to happen what the master had cut. So similarly, we coaches design a training program and the trainers implement it. So that is the role of a coach, following a proper periodization. So this is very important to know. And then there is a lot of insecurities happening between the coaches nowadays. कि अरे मेरा एथलीट है तो मैं उसको पकड़ के रखूंगा, वो दूसरे के पास जाएगा. So that should not happen.
Since you're closely associated with track and field sports, what kind of career or scope of career do you see for the upcoming coaches in this field?
Coaches, definitely, when the athletes will start performing, there will be newcomers who will join your academies.
Correct.
So there will be definitely big number of athletes training with the coach, and then he can start appointing different trainers and assistants so that he can increase the centers and get his system into different centers. So coaches have got bright future. I'm 100%. During our times, there were very few. Nowadays, there are a lot of coaches coming in. There is a lot of competition now in coaches. So unless and until your athletes are not performing, definitely why the newcomers will join your academy. Yes, but the athletes, those who are staying nearby the facility, they will join. But if your facility is far away, so the athlete will not come to your center because the traveling time is
More.
more. There were athletes from Dombivli, Mulund, who used to come to my academy. कि नहीं ये आपके पास ही ट्रेनिंग करना है. Then I used to tell them कि your traveling time will be more coming to my center. नहीं नहीं sir, we want to train with you. Then gradually 5-6 months they used to come, and then when they used to find कि now we
They can't keep up with the
keep up
travel.
the traveling time, then they leave. So this is what happens. So I keep telling them, please join some academy which is nearby your place.
Sir, any specific project that you are working on or has definitely or otherwise caught your attention in the field of track and field and strength?
So basically, what project we are working on is the rural development, sports development. So since 2017, we have taken up very seriously. We have started our own foundation, AIM Sports Foundation, where we go to rural schools and do a lot of workshops because they don't have equipments to train, the scientific training programs. The PE teachers over there, they don't have that much knowledge. So what we do is we go to the schools, we go with the equipments, how to use these equipments, we take a workshop, and the entire equipment kit bag we donate to the school. And the PE teacher, we take him on our panel, we educate him how to train the athletes. I've written 3 books. We have made 2 DVDs, my ex-athletes, with my ex-athletes. And then the school comes on our panel. And to have that accountability, we organize events for them. Dhadas and Bharari. So Dhadas is a track and field event, and Bharari is 1 mile race, wherein we try to identify talent from these competitions to motivate them. Our prizes are cycles. So till their 450 cycles, they have earned. We have not donated the cycles. So through this, now we have identified talent. We are starting with sports gurukul for in 50 schools for 1,500 girls. So from each school we have identified 30 girls, where we will be taking up with 2 sports. One is kho and one is athletics, and entire sports kit, their education, their nutrition, we will be taking care of with scientific training programs.
Wow, that means a lot of budding talent will be supported well
Yes.
at the grassroots level so that they can take up sports as their career.
Career.
That's wonderful, sir, because I think it's needed and required in this era of where people are just people who have a lot of money are privileged to get a lot of support in the field of sports. But I think this is commendable. There's this thing which is said by the president of World Athletics Federation, that is Sebastian Coe. That is, after the Athletics Federation of India formally submitted a declaration expressing its intent to stage the Under 20 World Championship in the year 2028. What are your thoughts on this being a sports coach for track and field athletes?
Absolutely, this will give. This is a big platform for our athletes because yeah, as a host country, I know because I was closely associated with Youth Commonwealth Games, which happened in 2008 at Pune. So I was with the Indian team in the Indian camp. During that time, also we won a lot of medals. So if our athletes compete in the 2028 World Championships, and if like Neeraj Chopra won a gold medal at the Junior World Championships. So if our athletes, Hima Das won a 400 meters medal. So this is a very big platform for the athletes, and definitely the coaches, those coaches who will be training the athletes, and those athletes, if they win there, definitely the coaches, what do you say, the platform will rise, and many coaches will definitely start coaching their athletes scientifically. There will be no quantity training. As you know, quality beats quantity, and I'm seeing a lot of coaches are overloading the athletes with quantity training. So basically, scientific approach, um, uh, is very, very important from the coach's point of view. And many coaches are doing it. And 2028 will be a great platform for the athletes as well as the coaches.
Since you have been training track and field athletes now, this is 2025, and we're looking at anywhere 3 years down the line. Do you have any names that you want to bid for right now to be, representing India in this championship?
Definitely, I will take up my athlete's name.
Yeah, definitely.
Shaurya is there.
Yeah.
Ayush Patil is one of my athlete who I'm training since grassroots level. Abhig and Nikam is there. So these three athletes, I feel definitely they can be a part of the Indian contingent if they train well. They stay away from distractions.
Definitely, sir. I think this podcast would be trending when they are actually winning medals in this
Absolutely.
championship.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful insights on the world of sports coaching. I think I had a lot to learn. I myself, being somewhere an athlete in the past days, I think it reflected a lot that how a sports coach plays an important role in shaping athletes' performance and pushing them to their limits and winning medals, of course.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much. It was like this was my first podcast, so I am also happy and thrilled coming here.
Thank you, sir.